It's a great pleasure to be able to ask Ben Priest a few questions on your behalf. Let me tell you a little bit more about Ben and his partners. They were a very successful team at Roney Kelly Y&R, which was an agency that they kind of transformed, actually. And then Ben and three partners left to found Adam and Eve in 2008. They are now, factually, and I think in sort of popular imagination, the most successful advertising agency in the world, and probably the most successful advertising agency of the last 10 or 15 years. Talk to us about how the agency started.
I really didn't want to do it. I really didn't want my own agency. I'd seen people, a lot of them don't work, and I'd seen people who had very nice jobs and were doing very nice work think, well, this is what I have to do next, and it had gone totally wrong. But I'd started working with James and with David, and we just had that weird sort of chemistry, and we loved working together, and we seemed to be doing good stuff, and they were desperate to do it. And so in the end, I thought, okay, well, don't think about it like a business decision. Make it a people decision. How difficult is it going to be to find two other people that you work this well with? It hasn't happened so far in your career. Forget about the business, just go with the people. And so we jumped like that. And we made our first John Lewis ad, which is not the greatest ad in the world. But for us, you know, it was like sunshine coming out. We were these crinkled, sort of exhausted things, and the warmth of this thing uncurled us. And so we thought, fuck, that's what we should do from now on. This feels great, and it lasts longer, this feeling, than winning pitches. We've been a shit agency for 18 months. Now let's try and be a good agency. And John Lewis had the best Christmas they ever had. I've personally never met anyone who saw the ad on telly, so I don't know how.
We could show them now, though.
Yeah. I mean, it isn't. You know, it's not perfect, but yeah, this was the sort of small start.
So, as you started to get rolling and do some fantastic work, what do you think began to set the agency apart and sort of build towards the kind of, you know, reputation that you have now? What were the kind of factors in there that?
I think, I mean, we started in a recession, and I think that's really good. You know, people walk into their big agency having had their boss bollock them because sales are down, and there are 12 receptionists and 14 floors, and they think, I'm pretty sure I'm paying for this. Bugger, you know, and then they come and see us. We were in a terrible little building that looked like a call centre with sort of mad staring eyes. You knew we'd work sort of 20 foot round the clock. They were like, okay, as long as I don't have to meet them too often, these guys. So, but I think very open, you know, we never I mean, it's all very bog standard now, but very, very open plan, no departments, groups aren't allowed to sit together, everyone jumbled up, creatives sitting with account people. And it's a very honest culture. You know, you don't do something because someone's important or they're old. You do the group, 6, 7 people, stay very tight. They work very quickly. They're brutally honest about the work. They move at speed, get it done. And I don't think we ever really had a magic, you know, we haven't got a magic formula. I think we're very honest with each other.
John Lewis Long Wait, which everyone will love.
Yeah, so I mean...
Do you want to talk about that first?
Well, it's Dougal Wilson, so if you haven't worked with him, you must. And he's a great man and a decent man. And this was so easy, you know, it was a ridiculously easy ad to make. I should lie and say it was torture and, you know, agonising, and I saved the day. But I mean, it was just it was just effortless. And it was the first Christmas ad we did that, like, this thing started to happen. Well, the script was 2 lines long, what Matt and John wrote, and I thought, oh, that's good, if we could get Dougal. And then we got Dougal, and then Dougal said, and we had the music already, we tried to put the music on that first ad I showed you, and John Lewis wouldn't go for it. And then Dougal said to me, we've got to cast this kid in Scotland. I want someone that's been to drama school and can work all day and can hit a mark. But if we get someone from London who's at drama school, they'll come in and be like, morning, you know, where's my cappuccino and all that sort of thing. Whereas if we cast someone from Scotland, he'll be a real kid with real family and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. And he sent me a stack of DVDs, so it shows how long ago it was. And the first kid was Lewis, and he was absolutely right. And the kid came down with his family, who were delightful. And it's just what, you know, like, and you look back and you realise doing something that you feel proud of is there's like sort of 9 hurdles. If you clip one of them, the whole thing's fucked. But very occasionally it all lines up.
Get what I want, Lord knows it would be the first time
We never wrote any agency beliefs or systems. It seemed like there were too many around. But one of the things we used to talk about all the time, which is not very scientific, is, real work for real stuff that real people buy in the shops. And that's very important to us. We didn't start with any small things or charitable things or stuff like that. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to sort of be brilliant ITV at its best, if you like.
What do you think of the state of play is? How would you describe it?
Well, I'm a bit... I kind of think... I don't think it gets particularly better or worse. I think it's pretty great. On the whole, the people who are telling you it's worse are normally people who are finding it difficult to get work in it anymore. Yeah. So it was bloody marvellous in my day, but it's not now. And I don't, it's a fabulous job. It's a great thing to do. But it is it's a football. You get lent it for a while. You get to kick it about. You get to have great fun, but never think it's your football. It's not. I personally think that it's a great time to be in the business. The young people in the business these days do so much more than we were so idle by comparison.
Quicker.
Oh my God, I'd have a press ad to do for 2 weeks. Nowadays, my young guys are doing, totally integrated campaigns, 4 on the go at the same time, client meetings, shooting things to persuade people to buy things and stuff like that.
What advice would you give people, first of all, coming to the industry now?
Yeah.
And secondly, people who might be thinking of starting their own business? So 2 questions.
I would just be very suspicious of quite a lot of the advice that you get. I look back at a lot of the advice that I got, and it was just rubbish.
Shit.
And see people, and if you have good ideas, it's still a job where I can remember when I was at Lowe's, I used to get up every morning at sort of 7 o'clock, and I would walk to work and think, this could be the day. I could write that thing today that is going to change people's lives, my lives, stuff like that. And the business is still like, it's an amazing thing that the internet gives us this incredible connection with the people that we're writing work for. You get feedback, you feel stuff. When stuff goes up into the air, it's an amazing experience. And I think there are very few jobs that give you that. So I think it's a fabulous job, but everyone is winging it. Don't think that there are companies that are sort of aluminium and fabulous escalators, and inside somehow there's the secret to it's not true. I don't have any formal training. Everyone is winging it. If you love it, you'll learn all about it on the job. Pick the good bits of advice from the crap that you get. But you can, changing the world is overstating it, but it's an amazing canvas to work on. So I still think it's a fabulous thing to do. And if you're starting your own business, just be very careful who you do it with. Make sure that you can, David, James and I row all the time, constantly, but about work. And it's never personal. It's often very, very uncomfortable for other people. Craig from John Lewis and I row in a very ugly way at times, but it's always about the work. So I think ego is the death of startups. People that think they're fucking marvelous and here we go. It's not about that. It is a gang game now. You've got to be able to take part, and you've got to have a great crew with you. So just make sure that we had been in the trenches together before we did it, and that was a
big time.
And that's and I think that's important. So make it a great people decision. Don't think about it as a business.